That's a good start.
True. Welcome to the ASL Season 12 Power Ranking. I'm joined here with Brad and Lily.
That's us.
Hello. We're professional, I swear.
Yup. Alright, let's get right into it. With IL Kids team. There's a lot going on with this team. It's got some really solid top end picks. Mega Latios is a great mon. Weavile's great. Not too many complaints in my opinion.
Lily, what you think?
It's got really good offense. Latios is a big threat, especially Mega. Weavile is always powerful. Landorus is some power. Arcanine can be some good heat. Guts Luxray, some power. And Hitmonlee with Rapid Spin in close combat can do some good shit late game.
Mm-hmm.
The bulk is good. I like the Ferrothorn and Arcanine together. Granbull and Gigalith are some nice low tier bulk too. Tentacruel is a fine Spadef mon and solid spinner and T-Spiker. Dusclops, always bulky. I will say it does kind of lack when it comes to pivoting mons. Teleport Arcanine is solid. U-turn Landorus is good. But after that, it's kind of a little iffy. Like, you have U-turn Unpheasant, but that's not going to be too common to bring, I don't think. Volt Switch Luxray, same reason. Baton Pass Latios is not an easy to fit on move. And Mon just wants to come in, be an offensive threat.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I
think he has a lot of solid speed tiers with a bit of a drop off. It starts out really well. Good cap with Weavile. Mega Latios, easy bring. It's Lando I should be pretty easy fairly often. Tentacruel is a good base 100. Arcanine is good. And then you get down to like Luxray and it drops way off down to Granbull at 45. That's a little bit of a hit to the ratings there.
Yeah, I mean, I was the highest by a pretty significant margin in the rankings, mainly because I think he it's something I harped on last year in the post-draft power rankings. Just like maximizing tier, right? You've got to hit a home run in tier A. You need to hit home runs in tier B, and preferably in tier C. And I think he does that. I like his A, I like his B, I like his C. He's got value in his D's and his E's. So I don't want to say too much because I do play him in week 1. But as you can see, I like the team better than either of y'all.
Yeah, there's a lot I do like about it as well. I'm just really making sure that I try and separate the coach from the team, and I might be compensating too far for that. But I do like a lot about the team. It's very physically offensive. There are mons that can be special, but pretty much everything on here has a base attack of like 100 or more, which is kind of crazy, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I think like Tentacruel is the only one that really doesn't do anything physical. All the other mons can very easily run physical or only run physical. But yeah, pretty solid.
Tentacruel gets Sword Stance and that's about it?
Does it?
Yeah.
Maybe
it does get Sword Stance.
That was a secret tech for week 1 probably. Now it's ruined.
Got him.
Do you have anything left to say on this? I think you kind of covered it all, though, Lily.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I think Lele just took notes of our pre-recording discussion and just said all the things that we were saying.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
All right. On to the next one then. We got Melone. A lot of good things going on here. Pretty solid overall, I'd say. Lele is a great A. Skarmory is a solid defogger. He doesn't have a lot of defog, but Skarmory is one of the best, without a doubt. Infernape's good. Porygon 2 is great bulk. Mega Manectric. Uh, I always heard that it took a hit with the loss of hidden power, but that doesn't instantly mean it's bad. I'm interested in seeing what Malone does to prove that wrong. He's got some great D&E picks. Dragalge is great. I love Zoroark. Jellicent's nice. Rhydon is a great tier E. I don't think he really missed anywhere through there. He's got some wish passing in Glaceon. Glaceon might be hard to fit on some weeks. It is a tier D, so it might not be a super reliable wish, but he has it there. He's got some momentum with Volt Switch, Manectric, U-Turn Infernape, a few others here and there. He's got some good rockers. Skarmory's good for
Hazard
stuff. Yeah, Hazard Stack. It's just very specially oriented on the offensive, kind of the opposite of Kid's team, it seems.
I like a lot of Malone's team. I mean, our grades are really consistent, as you can see. B+ straight down the board. Also, cannot help but highlight the fact that he's got the logo in the background. Look at it closely. I love it. Personal touch. I like a lot of Malone's team. I love the Infernape. I think Infernape's one of the best tier Bs. It doesn't get nearly enough love. Mega Manectric, I'm a fan of. I saw it recently and it impressed me. My favorite flip turner mon of all of them. I love Dragalge flip turn now. A lot of nice options on this team. I do think this team is inherently very knockoff weak in that Lele really likes its item, Infernape likes its item. Porygon obviously is in desperate need of its item. A lot of these mons just really want to hold on to their original item, and his Mega doesn't take knockoffs well. I mean, it'll take him with the Intimidate, but he's still going to take 20-30%. It's going to start racking up really quickly. So that is one thing I do have somewhat against this team. But Skarmory is fine. It can take knockoffs and roost off the damage, so it's not a big deal. He does have good hazards. He doesn't have a ton of removal, but Skarmory can come every week with Defog and it'd be perfectly fine. So I'm a fan of the team. I think B+ is a really good grade, and I think his team's worthy of the good grade. But the one glaring thing to me is just that ground typing. If you're gonna bring a ground and it's going to stop that Volt Switch, it's going to be a tier E mon, and there's no way around that. And I don't love that.
Yeah, for sure. This is my week 1 opponent, so I don't want to say too much either. I will say I definitely do like his mixed attackers because they're going to be tough to prep for. You don't know what he's going to be feeling each week. If he's going to be a physical Zoroark one week, special the next. On top of that, just having to figure out what's Zoroark and what isn't is always going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Double Eviolite is very concerning, I agree.
Yeah, that's scary having a lot of your bulk wrapped up into one item like that. But
yeah,
sorry,
good team. It's a good team.
It is.
Not a great team, but it's a good team.
It's solid.
Yeah. All right, we ready for the next?
Yes.
All right.
Very logic. I'll take this one first. I I had the highest grade again. I think I'm just the most generous grader, probably. But I really like the offensive options on this team. This team screams bulky offense. He's got decent speed tiers, although there's some issues within the speed tiers I'll get to in a minute. But I mean, Kieran Black and Mega Gardevoir right there are just a righteous problem to deal with. They are going to be very hard to swap into. Both have plenty of set options at their disposal to keep things fresh and new. He's got the Glare with Superior, and potentially a really fast Thunder Wave to get off with a Jolteon that could support and help Kieran Black and Mega Gardevoir get big damage off regularly. Unlike the last team we talked about, this team, if you want to bring a ground, hey, it's a tier D. We took a step up, but some of the similar problems, right, in that water and grass are both going to pop that ground type because they're quad weak to it. At least he has an electric absorb, which I do think is helpful. His speed tiers are a bit hollow, right? Jolteon is really fast. That's a great speed tier. Cincino really fast. But are you wanting to bring Jolteon and Cincino to every single match? Probably not. But you could probably fit one of the two onto pretty much any team you build. So speed tiers are fine, not elite. I love the first two Mons. I'm a fan of the team. I think it's good, but I do think it has some holes, and I'm not sure that he got great value toward the back end of the draft. I like Honchkrow as a breaker. I like the speed he got in Tier D, but I'm not sure that his Tier D and his Tier E are bringing elite value from those tiers.
Yeah, my biggest concern with this team is the hazard removal is pretty iffy. Superior's kind of just forced into the role because it has the move slot open for it with its very limited special pool. Honchkrow definitely doesn't want to run it. Going to be busy running full offense most weeks, maybe some setup. Fuck Toxapex.
Yeah.
No one likes fighting that thing, but it does what it does well. So,
yeah,
can't hate on that.
Yeah.
I think the rockers are solid. Koba, always good for it. Rhyperior, a lot of weaknesses, but solid rock helps.
Really struggles with EQ, right? His EQ swap in is really rough.
Yes, it does. His EQ swap in is essentially get the read right with Honchkrow or bring Dusknoir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much since I play Dirty Logic Week 1, but there's definitely a lot of things I'm going to have to watch out for. And there's definitely a lot of things that can be abused on his team. I think that he has a lot of good things going for him, like you guys were covering. The stealth rocks. He's got some good rockers. He's got some great bulky offense. Just a little lacking with the hazard removal, and then speed tiers aren't. He might have a hard time bringing a lot of the important speed tiers each week.
Yeah, it's again a decent team.
Yeah,
another decent team.
Guard and Kiram are going to be big threats for you.
I'm curious to see what he does this season. All right, on to the next, and up to Brad's team.
Not it.
Alright, I'll start off. First thing I noticed when I look at this team, the top 6 picks are massive offensive threats. Mawile, one of the best breakers in the game. Cinderace, powerful moveset. A lot of moves over base 100. Thunderous, an absolute threat. Great move pool. very threatening. Going to pair nicely with the Polytoad. Aromatisse is a very solid wish passer. Taunt doesn't mind Toxic too much because it runs Cleric very well. Miltank, very solid wall. Basically fills whatever role you need it to do week by week. Silvally is an unpredictable nightmare, being able to be any type. Nidoking just powers through a lot of walls with Life Orb moves. Medicham, whether it's Scarf or Banded, it's going to do massive work. And we can't forget Mr. Rhyme, down there, the secret A tier in E tier.
Yeah, there's a lot that this team does well, for sure. You definitely have to separate the coach from the team in this one because Brad knows how to use a lot of weird things. I'm very interested in seeing what he has Sableye, what he has Omastar do. And of course he dropped in Silvally again. But I really like the Polytoad and the Miltank with Mega Mawile. You know, that's one Mon for physical fire moves, one for special fire moves. I feel like Thundurus is going to have to come very often, though, for that ground immunity. I feel like, I mean, who knows what Brad's going to do, but I feel like for most people, Silvally would want to be Bug or Flying or Grass for that ground resist to support Mega Mawile even further. But there's a lot of great things going on it for sure. Great rockers, a lot of power. And yeah, like you were saying, the speed tiers are pretty solid as well. Court change is interesting as well.
For me this season, I really came into this draft with the intent to just really reward myself. I was lucky enough, very proud of the championship season I had last season. So this season I came to the draft and said, if I don't like them on, I don't want to fool with them on, I'm not drafting it, period. That's the end. So every one of these Mons that I took are Mons that I enjoy using personally, I have a history with, or I think I can use them in a fun way. And this is really just a team of Mons that I like, and I think I'll use them well. I do have sometimes an ability to use weird Mons in crafty ways to get results that I needed, and some of the Mons that I'm the most excited about are not Mons I think that probably you would expect. I'm very excited. Should be a very fun team, and I'm hopeful just to make playoffs. I mean, I think that's everybody's goal, right? It should be everybody's goal, in my opinion. And I think that this team is good enough to give me the opportunity to make playoffs.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to add. I think it's interesting having no dragon on the team, since most people are like, oh, I gotta grab my dragon. They're usually higher tiers. Interesting to see. But you do have the option of Silvally running dragon if you really want a dragon type.
Yeah, I do some weird stuff, man, and I don't look at necessarily teams conventionally like a lot of people are. I'm not looking at typings to check off. I'm really looking more at roles and what I want Mons to do. So I definitely, I usually fail to meet like your Fairy Dragon Steel, your Fire Water Grass. They are not priority for me, and I don't seek those things out.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Makes sense. All right, on to Lily's team. I like a lot of things about this team. It's a very solid team. A lot of Mons that I really particularly like. I love Chandelure. You got Tapu Koko at a great value pick at you had like a 11th overall, 12th?
Yep.
Something like that. And to get Koko that late in round one, that's awesome. I think Latias is a great support mon to go with, or could be offensive if you decide to bring it as so 1 week. Manaphy's a great mon, great setup. Mega Steelix
Yeah.
is not a whole lot of depth to it. It's fairly one-dimensional, but it's reliable. It's a great reliable mon. Chandelure, I love Chandelure. The mon hits so hard. Great special
It does.
attacker. Licky is a great
Yep.
wish passer as well. Serena is a very underrated mon, I think. It hits insanely hard, and it gets great coverage. Triple Axle is really scary on it. Flying types are not an answer because of that. Great knockoff user, Spinner. Surfetch is a great mon. It hits crazy hard. It's a great pick out of D tier. And then the other four mons get a little strange. They're only kind of mons that you might see only Lily taking. I like Murkrow for the prankster, for sure. But all I see with Arctozold is the Bolt Beak and the Train, which is what you were going for. But I don't know if I'd use a pick for one move. Ariados is it can set webs, but I don't know if it's the most solid web setter. And I'm not going to say a bad thing against Carbink, though. Won't say a bad word against Carbink.
Yeah, I think it's a good team. Like I said, a B plus, right? Speaks for itself. It's a favorable grade. Yeah, the A is, Tapu Koko is one of the two best mons in format, in my opinion. You got great value out of your Bs, really versatile mons. Both can bow, pretty offensive, pretty defensive. You got some options there. Your C tier is fine. I love Chandelure. Mega Steelix is a bit meh, right? It's okay. It's fine. Licky's really nice on this team. And then, like, that bottom half, right? You got your top six, your bottom six. That top six is really nice. That bottom six, it gets a little sketch for me. Gets a little bit sketch. Now, like Murkrow, it's got a lot of fancy tricks. If you're going to play Lele and you haven't looked into Murkrow before, I'm not going to ruin it for him. But if you don't look into Murkrow, it's probably going to cause you some significant problems. If you've not faced one, you don't know what they do. Yeah, it's going to eat your life up if you don't go check it out. And that's about all I'll say on it. I know Lele loves Surfetch, so good for him pairing up something that he enjoys. I like the team, man. I like a lot of what Dravos had to say about it. It's a good team. And I expect it to be good enough to give Lele a fighting chance in every matchup.
Yeah, I didn't touch on the speed tiers at all. I think the speed tiers are really good. Coco, Latias, Manaphy are all easy brings every single week. If not,
Yeah.
most weeks at the very least. Yeah,
Right.
I think you really nailed your speed tiers. Anything you want to say, Lily?
I basically just drafted what I enjoy, what really interested me. I've been wanting to try Coco for a while. Surprised I got it all. Manaphy looked pretty fun. Been wanting to try one of the Lotties. Decided Latias would fit better with the composition I was going for. Not gonna lie, this may be one of the first time I probably 3 memes. Arctozolt, just a mon that suddenly caught my interest one day. Decide, okay, let's see what it does. Carbink, my favorite mon. Could never hate it. Can only see myself in having fun using it. Murkrow, just a mon I've loved for a long time. Excited to see what it does for me.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's the most important part, is that you're enjoying your team.
No, making playoffs is the most important part.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Please?
that's a given. I didn't even include that because it's so in stone.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, though, a good team, right? It's a competitive league. It's a good team. I think that's what we're going to see in almost every team. Is that it's a good team. It's a competitive league.
All right. If somebody
sure.
else wants to take mine, because I don't want to talk all about mine.
I mean, I'll go with it. It's I again, as we're seeing a trend here, highest grade. Um, there's a lot to like about this team. In the Jirachi, Zapdos, the Vaporeon, the Galarian Weezing, I think make a really nice bulky core. There's a lot of mons in between D and E that can get into that bulky core and really help. The takeaways for me, like Absol, you got the Blaziken, you've got the Mismagius, who all traditionally want to be offensive, all struggle to take even neutral hits. Some do it better than others. Haxorus, depending upon the type of hit it is, if it's a strong mon, then neutral may 2-hit KO it as well. But you've got enough options to swap out that it should be fine. I'm expecting you to be able to get off big offense, swap into some of your bulkier mons, and get some pivoting around. I love the idea of Zapdos and Vaporeon both having pivot moves to get you into the Absol, to get you into maybe the Blaziken or whatever it may be. I think you're getting good value in your A, your Bs, and your C. I like some of your D mons. I like some of your E mons. You check a lot of the boxes of what I'm typically looking for. You've got good setup, so yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with the A minus. I like the team.
I think your pivoting is really strong. Zapdos, Jirachi all love to U-turn. I especially think U-turn is going to be more effective on Blaziken rather than a speed boost one, because you lose that speed boost obviously. I think you have three very solid defoggers rather. Weezing, Cryogonal, and Zapdos, all very good at removing hazards, and you even have Absol to deny your opponent resetting them up. I think you have very strong breakers in Haxorus and Absol, and maybe even Blaziken. Your Wish Pass is solid. I know Vaporeon is very good at it. Flip Turn only makes it better. Jirachi can do it too, and to great effect. I like the Kecleon in E. Very effective Protean Mon. Gets some good priority. Gets some good move pool. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Good priority in general.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this draft turned out. Without going too much into my plans for my team, I really wanted to draft a team where Jirachi was not forced into any role, and I think I've done that. Vaporeon can Wish instead of Jirachi. I can have Wish without Jirachi running it. I just wanted to free up Jirachi to do whatever I felt like it doing. I wanted it to be a Steel type Mew on my team, pretty much. And I also wanted to give Zapdos the room to not have to defog every week. And with Cryo being able to run Rapid Spin or defog, with Weezing being able to run defog, I think often enough Zapdos will easily get away without running defog. And that was kind of my main goals. Actually, maybe my secondary goals. My main goal was just to use Blaziken, because I really like Blaziken. It's not speed boost.
Yeah, the team really supports Blaziken well, right? You can get that water absorb Vaporeon, flip turn out into your Zapdos, maybe do whatever you do. The team really supports Blaziken well.
Yeah, Blaziken was the first mon I put down for what do I want to draft in Season 12. Blaziken and Zapdos were my primary two.
an important note, but do you have a third wisher on this team? You put down you have 3.
That's a typo then. That's a typo.
Oop.
Wait, no. Absol
Maybe
technically gets it.
Okay, I was thinking it was Absol.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do technically have 3.
Click it. You're not real if you don't click it.
Melone saying wish Absol no other move.
Yeah. Did they get baton pass? Just wish
It does
baton
get
pass?
baton
It does
pass
get
too,
baton.
yeah.
So wish baton pass Absol was the problem.
Yeah. A lot of versatility. That's what I was aiming for in my draft this season.
Absol's
Be the
known
surprise
for
tactic you need.
versatility.
Yeah.
Bulky Absol coming your way.
All right.
Week 1, guaranteed. Heard it here first.
Next up, we have Altaria Motives. Ian.
A lot of disagreement on this ranking, right?
Yeah.
We just couldn't come to a consensus. Drab, why don't you go first?
All right. There's a lot of good things on this team. I really like it. And I know that Ian also got sniped like mad during the draft, and he still was able to recover and put together this solid team. That's really well done, for sure. I really like Mega Charizard X. I really like Scizor. Keldeo with Flip Turn is going to be scary to go up against. Tornadus is good. Uxtie's great. Mon, lots of versatility in there. Diance's good. Alolan Persian definitely has some great niches. Gligar is a good Mon. I love Delmize personally as well. And really, like, his E's aren't bad either at all. Type Null he showed was great last season. Quillfish is great. Electrode, I don't really, you can't really speak much on it, but it's a great speed tier, great volt switch. And that's probably more so what he drafted it for. In fact, I think he did actually say he just drafted it for the speed tier or something. I don't want to try and quote him there, but yeah, no, a lot of good defog as well to support that Charizard, Tornadus, Scizor, Gligar. He's got good rock setters in Uxie and Gligar and Diancie. He's got some heal bell as well here and there. He's got a lot of great momentum. And Electrode's kind of way up there, but other than that, his speed tiers are all pretty close-knit, which will keep people running jolly and timid instead of modest and adamant, for sure.
Yeah. Ian's got a history of drafting great teams. This actually, at a consensus A minus, is probably one of his worst teams in recent history, which is ludicrous because it's, I mean, obviously very, very good. Just to make Ian upset, I am going to call to memory that this team is very similar to my Season 8 team, repeating the Charizard X, the Scizor, the Tornadus Incarnate, and the high tier water, but that's okay. I'm happy for them. They were great then. They will be great again this season. It's a good team overall. As you said, the speed tiers are fine. The top end speed tiers are a little bit hollow, right? You know, Electrode and Persian are not maybe what you want to rely on for your top end speed. They're good Mons. But I mean, Torn at 111 can come every week, and it will be fast. It'll be strong. Charizard X, I've said it again over and over, I'm going to say it forever, is the hardest Mon in format to deal with and prep. It conceptually can beat any wall you could possibly build. It's very annoying to have to face. I don't look forward to dealing with it when we come to Commissioner Bowl time. The one thing I say, this team to me seems really offensive on the front end, really defensive on the back end. I know he'll find a way to balance that out. But I do like, I think Diancie is potentially the very best tier D Mon. Type Null is one of the better tier E Mons. He gets great value in every tier. There's a reason. I mean, I think a consensus A minus is either our highest score overall or very near our highest score overall, and there's good reason for it. It's a very good team.
I think this is the highest rated overall team, actually. I think we were pretty critical of most teams, or maybe not necessarily critical. We didn't give out a
Lil is bringing our
ratings.
grade down on every team. I
Yeah.
agree.
I have to play devil's advocate. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
Well, it's your turn, so go ahead and do it.
All right. Only real comment is I will Diancie, but I can't complain about getting budget Diancie. Quillfish is a great mon. Low tier intimidate. Hazard stack, very solid. This is a team that I think would kind of appreciate wish support because Yuxi, Diancie, Persian definitely would love getting some wishes. Quillfish and Type Null too. Zard's going to be a major threat, going to be a massive problem for people to prep for. It just kind of forces teams to either play defensive or offensive. And I think you're going to be able to use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Really good team.
I think we've covered everything. I don't think there's much more to say.
Yes.
All right. We got Brett, Riverside Otters.
Oh, the real highest overall rated team in our.
Immediately forgot
is.
about it.
Lily, are you up?
Yeah, I'll take it. Immediately, Tornadus Therian is a very strong start to any draft, and followed by offensive threats like Victini and Hydreigon. It's going to be really hard to prep for. Conch Elder and Gengar are also strong, and then you actually did get some pretty solid low tier bulk to back up these threats. Steelix, Seismitoad, very good at what they do. Eldegoss and Alcremie are great special walls. Vikavolt is some very nice sticky web. I'm interested to see what Raticate does for you. Big fan of that mon, to be honest. And then some nice low tier spikes, and Glalie is going to be good. Speeds are pretty solid. Capping at 121, I think, is very good. Gengar, you're going to be bringing that a lot. Victini, going to get a lot of use out of that. I feel like you drafted well when it came to getting those high tier speeds.
Yeah, for sure. His 4 fastest mons are going to be insanely easy to bring. I think he got one of the best value picks, in my opinion, with Alcremie. I personally think that's a steal in Tier E. It can run Spadef, it can run FizzDef, and it can overwhelm an unprepared team with a setup, potentially, as well as just come in, take a hit, do some cleric stuff, and get out. Has a great web setter with Vikavolt. Really good mon. Interesting grass type and Eldegoss, Regenerator and Rapid Spin. Will be really cool to see. Yeah, not the most hazard removal, but like Eldegoss with Rapid Spin and Torn T are great. Torn T is a great defogger, for sure. Yeah, I think it's kind of just Torn T and Eldegoss. Really, you don't really want to burden Hydreigon with defog. Conch doesn't really run defog, to my knowledge, but
I usually know.
It can.
They decided that was necessary, yeah.
I think this is a team. One of the reasons I think that it is universally our highest scored team is it the maximization of every single tier, right? I harp on it
Absolutely.
all the time. You got to have a grade A. You got to hit a home run in A. Torrin T is absolutely unquestionably a home run in A. You got to have home runs in Bs. Well, he got, in my opinion, an A tier Mon in B. You get in Victini. Hydreigon's a stable. I mean, it's just awesome, incredible B tier Mon. Conk, in my opinion, is a B tier Mon. I'm consistently outvoted on that, so it is in C. Just Seismitoad's one of the best Ds, as is Vikavolt. You know, Dravos obviously loves Alcremie, and E thinks it's underrated. So every single tier, just check mark. Great value, great value, great value. And I think it shows when you get over here to the rating scale that he's getting great value in every mon. A lot of momentum that has purpose, right? So, you know, you've got Hydreigon, maybe they've got a great fairy, you turns out gets into maybe your Victini. So he's got momentum that also should bring in results. It's a great team. There's a reason it's all A's, because it's all good, bro. It's all good. It's a great team. Should be. This is definitely the kind of team that should be making playoffs.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Drav better respect Alcremie after he almost swept him.
That was. We're not talking about that match. Nope. I think we're done here.
No?
No.
All right.
All right. Keister.
Keister, for those that don't know, returning champion, a former member of the ASL management team, phenomenal talent. Guy, once you click accept challenge, you are in for a rodeo. Kid's very, very good. This particular team, not evidentiary of his skill. And he'll use it well. He'll win games. But there are some things here that probably are indicative of the grade that he got. One of the main things is such hollow speed tiers, right? Fastest Mon is 110 Alolan Raichu. Not a great Mon. Definitely not a great Mon. Not the kind of Mon you're excited about bringing every week. If he wants that, he can get that big. I think it's called Soul Surfer ability, where it's electric terrain doubling his speed. But then that means you're bringing Pinshirin and Raichu to every match that you want that in. Scyther at 105, kind of a hollow number. You're not trying to bring Scyther every match, and if you do, there's inherently some issues to go there. This team is pretty Edgequake weak. Urshifu is unbelievable breaker, one of the best breakers in the meta, but is easily revengeable. He built around it pretty well, I think, because, fairy moves destroy Urshifu. Heat Drain comes in on fairy moves. Tangrowth and Sylveon can come in on fighting type moves. So I like some of the concepts that he has. I know he'll use it better than it looks on paper. But on paper, atrocious speed tiers. And a lot of mons that I don't love piecing together. But he'll be bulky. There will be Wish past Sylveon with Regenerator Tangrowth keeping things alive, taking the right kind of hits, stack spiking with Garbodor. He's going to win games. He's going to be a playoff contender because he is who he is. But his roster's not doing him a ton of favors.
I think it's really interesting to hear you say that he's a really good player, because I don't think Lily also. I know I don't know anything about him. I don't think Lily knows anything either. And
Same.
so we're able to really, there's no separating the coach from the team because we don't know anything about the coach either. And it sounds like this team is not indicative of the skill in the slightest. Personally, there's a lot of things that bring it down for me. I don't like that have anything faster than base 110 means you're bringing 2 electric types. Really don't like that. I'm not overly fond of Ditto. It's super one-dimensional. It can be played around so easily. I think Ditto encourages sub setup because it becomes useless then. Defog, not the greatest. Not the greatest hazard removal. Don't like having to run rapid spin on Mega Blastoise. Scyther's great, but I'd rather support it and be able to run Band on it rather than Boots and Defog. Flygon's good. No, Flygon doesn't get Defog, does it?
Yes, it does.
I think I checked this when I was drafting and didn't get it. I'm not sure on
It
that.
does get it.
Oh. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
I know this purely because defog by Brava is a thing.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I had checked Showdown and it said it didn't have it. Okay.
Flygon, just to be clear, 100% gets defog.
I'm crazy then. I don't know.
Travels, what did you check?
I don't know.
But regardless, I don't think that one thing is going to cause this team to flip
No.
from like a C- to like an A-.
No, absolutely not.
No, it's not. And Drifblim also is not a super reliable defogger. I just drafted it in another league and I didn't bring it ever and dropped it so that I could get something that could actually do work for my team. But he's got a lot of good pieces. I think it's just not thrown together the best.
Odd thing to note, but this is actually not the first time I've seen the combination of Mega Blastoise, Tangrowth, and Alolan Raichu. I don't know what synergy there is there, but apparently it's a thing. Because this is twice now I've seen. Garbodor, I think, is a great tier E and low tier poison. It does spike stacking like no other. Great ability in Aftermath for if you just need to kill off a physical attack or two. Urshifu is going to be an absolute threat for you, and Mega Blastoise backing up with a powerful special attack stat, definitely going to be great. Yeah. I think you're in for a good season.
I figured out the Flygon.
I will say,
I want to add this in. I mixed up Defog and Stealth Rocks. I had previously thought I got Stealth Rocks.
Yes, it does not get rocks.
I had double checked that somewhat recently and to see it didn't.
I will say there's very few times in Draft League that you will find a team that has more Toxic Spikers than Stealth Rockers.
That is rare, yeah.
I don't know what that says about the team. Maybe it's part of the reason it has a C overall, but that's very
Definitely.
unusual.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, on to the next one. We got the Crispy Panda. Good old TCP. This team
Indeed.
is an insane team. There's a lot of great things going on. His A and Bs, I mean, it's hard to get much better than that. It's just insane bulk. Support each other so well. Corviknight being only weak to fire and electric, and then you put Mega Venusaur on there. That's just annoying. That is insanely annoying. And he's got lots of other good picks as well. Entei is a solid C. Azelf is solid. Noivern's solid. Grimmsnarl is great. Stakataka is great. Curious to see what he'll do with that. I don't think Donphan fits the team. He shouldn't have picked it. Should have let it go to someone else. Kangaskhan is great. Gets wish support. Moth really put it to great use last season. He showed that he's great with Crybominable last season. Rotom's great Mon. I think it's kind of slept on because, Rotom Heat, Rotom Wash, they get all this attention, but regular Rotom's also good too. Just the main issue with it is just not a whole lot of immediate power, not a whole lot of breaking right away.
Yeah.
I think my biggest issue with this team is it doesn't really need the misty terrain that he's going to be providing for it. The walls all kind of already don't care about stats too much. Like, they kind of just welcome a burn because they can't be poisoned. Your speed tiers are decent. Noivern's not going to be an every week bring, but I think it's a solid enough one that you'll get good use out of it. Azelf and Entei kind of make up for that, though, as two mons that I can see you reliably using. Prankster Grimmsnarl is going to be a problem. Screens with an already bulky team is definitely not something anyone wants to deal with. Stack Attack a Trick Room paired with Crabominable, I definitely can see that being a huge problem for some people who just don't go in ready for it. Both mons are great at breaking. Defog is solid. Finny and Corviknight love very easy for him. Pivoting solid too. Finny getting flip turn is honestly amazing. Mon's gonna love running that, especially since it can't Scald Burn a lot. Yeah, I think you drafted pretty solidly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good team.
Yeah.
It's a good team. It's the kind of thing, you would expect from a coach like TCP. He's a great coach. You would expect him to draft a good team. It's a good team. Definitely not something that I would personally enjoy using. I can't speak for you guys, but this says 60 turn game all over it, and that is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. But he's got some fun mons. He's got some offensive mons like Azelf, Stack Attack, Crabominable. They're going to hit really hard. The Entei's going to hit really hard. I don't love the setup on the team. It's got a couple options that I can see that are pretty good, but not elite. But it's going to be bulky. If you can get through the A's and the B's, I don't think the team's that great. I think the team is really, really reliant on those top three mons, and I think those top three mons are definitely capable of carrying the rest, and I think they will. And TCP will have a good season on the back of those top three mons. No question about it in my mind.
Yeah. The challenge is for sure going to be breaking through Mega Venusaur and Corviknight and Finny.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But once you do that, assuming that you have enough healthy mons, you should be okay.
Yeah. The rest of the team's okay. The rest of the team's not great. But those top three are worthy of a B plus A minus on their own.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Onward we go.
Next up, we got Peaches.
I'll go first.
Perfect.
I'm going to go first on this one because ultimately what I want to know is, Lele, why do you hate this team? Huh? C? I'm over here with a B minus and you're here with a C. I just want to know why you hate Peach. I don't understand. But the team is really heavily loaded on this psychic terrain concept. Like, he is just all in. I'm going to bring psychic terrain every week. I'm going to bring mons that work in psychic terrain. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to lose. And he went all in on that concept. And good for him, because he got the right mons to try to make it happen. If for whatever reason psychic terrain isn't working for him, if you can deal with the Alakazam and the Hawlucha, this team is not going to go far. It's not going to win a ton of games. That's the reason that the grades are the way that they are, I believe. We'll find out in a minute why Lily hates this team and hates Peach as a person. I don't know yet, but I mean, that's what it is. This team relies extremely heavily on that one train. If that doesn't work, I'm looking at the rest of this team and I'm not seeing a complete set of. I'm not seeing a complete team, considering the fact that you have to bring almost certainly NDD to every match, and Alakazam probably to every match, and Hawlucha probably to every match. I'm not seeing a complete team for in the counter team format. Ladder's one thing. Counter team format, I don't know. It's a B- in my book. We'll see. But Lily, why do you hate Peach?
I just think this team's very good. If you're not bringing the Alakazam or Hawlucha every week, you kind of just lack power. You're a lot after those two. Your power kind of just breaks off and drops all the way down to your D tiers in Araquanid and Caparaja. I think having Sandslash as your own ground type is going to be really rough for you, because that kind of means you're forced to bring it whenever you need to stop Volt Turn, and a lot of electric types this generation actually handle ground type too. Like a lot of them get Grass Knot, a lot of them just get the coverage to hit ground now. Double Water is a bit iffy. I know you drafted Lapras because you said you like the use out of it. No disrespect there. I do think Webs helped this team a little bit, majorly, because once again, a lot of the stronger offense after Jet is bottom tiers and they're not fast mons. Alolan Golem is very solid with Galvanize, but Skuntank is, I'm gonna be honest, I don't love that mon. I have yet to see it do great things. Your hazard removal is decent. You got basically Rotom, Hawlucha. Does he have 4?
Skuntank.
I only see 3.
Skuntank.
Maybe that's a typo. I'm prone to those.
Oops.
I don't see what else would be defaulting.
I don't feel like Mimikyu loves Psychic Terrain, to be honest. Because it's a mon that commonly runs.
Shadow Sneak.
Yeah. It's a mon that loves to run Shadow Sneak Swords. So I feel like you're kind of crippling it slightly by forcing it to work with the speed tier it has.
Yeah, I agree a lot more with Lily on this one. I think there's balanced teams, and then there's top heavy teams, and then I feel like there's this team where you have Mega Alakazam and you have Hawlucha. I mean, you have some other power. You got Caparaja and Araquanid, but there's such reliance on Alakazam and Hawlucha. It's just I think it ends up working against the team more than anything. I also think Golem is kind of a weird pick. I mean, you got 2 electric types that are weak to water. I don't think that's doing a whole lot for you. I really don't like Skuntank. I think it's a mon that looks good on paper and then really disappoints, personally.
Yeah. We'll see, right? I mean, Peach is a good coach.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I see some concepts here, like he's got the Psychic Terrain, he's going to boost the Mega Alakazam, and then he's got the Mimikyu and the Skuntank to get rid of your bulky Psychics, to open the gates and make the path. But I think it can work. I think Mega Alakazam plus Indeedee is broken enough to just absolutely overwhelm some coaches, and it will overwhelm some coaches. But if you can get through psychic terrain and the gimmicks that it brings, I don't think this is a great team overall.
Yeah, and once again, separating the coach from the team. I'm sure Peaches will be able to do. Uh, I'm sure he'll put in a lot of work with it for sure. Well, it seems like we're on to the next one then. Shadow, who the speed tiers alone kill this team for me so much. 143 to 95, and Zatu isn't known for its speed investment. So
Big
it
oof.
feels a lot more like 143 to Buzzwool. That's an insane gap. There's
Yeah.
so many mons that
I
you
think the
don't
one
want
perk
to
is Zera's a mon.
Sorry, what were you saying, Lily?
I think the one perk is Zera is a mon week, so at least you do get that speed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough to see. I mean, you do have Sticky Web and SirPuff, but I don't think that's enough to patch it up. Because on top of that, like your hazard removal isn't great. Your defogger is also it gets magic bounce, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like you're not even really benefiting from having the ability and defog, since you're still obligated to bring that. And then you have Colossal for spin, which I like Colossal. Used it last season. It was fun, but it was not a mon that I wanted to bring every. Well, I wanted to bring it every match, but it's not a mon that realistically came to every match. I think his E tier picks are insanely solid. I think he has some great picks. I think the team just doesn't mesh well. Just not. Doesn't seem like there's much of a plan going in. A lot of redundancies. I don't think Amoongus and Weezing is super great. That's double poison. I don't think the double fighting and Buzzwole and Scrafty complement a whole lot. The double water. I mean, Dracovish is offensive. Lantern a lot more defensive, but I don't know. Just it's a lot of lack of synergy. I think is the main takeaway for this team.
A lot of strange double up typings too. Like you have 2 water, you have 2 electric, and I don't feel like they do like enough really support the team in any way, having both Lantern and Dracovish and Zera. Like Dravo said, the double poison doesn't really do itself any favors. The double fighting I feel like kind of just do the same thing. Also, and then you also have double flying. Just a lot of repeat types for
I didn't even notice the double.
no real reason, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would venture to guess. I haven't researched this, but it's probably the worst speed tiers we've ever seen in the history of the league. And I know you got Slurpuff with that burden, you got the Zero Aura, but it's still probably the worst speed tiers in the history of the league. Not a lot of good momentum. He does have a little bit of momentum, but not a lot of good momentum. He doesn't have an overwhelming amount of hazard support. Decent hazard setting, right? He's got 2 rockers. It looks like spikes, toxic spikes, webs. I'll give him that. Man, it's rough out here. I'm not gonna lie about it. I think that there are some cores that he can make, like the Buzzwole, Celesteela, Zero Aura core. Those 3, and by themselves alone, that's pretty solid. Yeah, but bro, I ain't gonna lie, it's rough out here. This one is several pieces away, in my opinion. If I was trying to pick up this team today, and I was tasked with the idea of fixing this team, what would I do? I would probably lose Buzzwole, even though I do like it. I think he invested a pretty high draft pick in getting Scrafty, and if that's the fighting type you want, maybe stick with that. Get you something a little bit faster in Tier C that can be more of a glue mon that gives you some versatility. Pick between Weezing or Amoonguss. Don't keep both. Try to find some value in there. Increase your speed tiers. You got 3 mons in the 70s, 3 mons in the 60s, and for some reason you got 3 mons at 30 speed. So yeah, I mean, if you could maybe make a couple of changes to help your speed tiers, support your team a little better. But bro, it's this one's bad news, man.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll surprise us though and make it.
Yeah. I mean, once again, it's the team. Has nothing to do with Shadow as a player.
Nope. No.
Anyways, on to Static. Lily, you got this one?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So right off the bat, this team kind of struggles with its speed. I feel like the first fastest mon on this whole draft is Moltres, and that caps at 90. The rest are kind of just low tiers you may find yourself bringing occasionally, or have to force yourself to bring just to get those speed tiers in there. Mega Scizor, very solid mon. Milotic, very solid mon. Tafu Bulu, very solid mon. But just having none of those as like a good speed tier, I feel like kind of hurts this team. I know Slowbro has that quick draw, quick claw combo, and I'm sure you can surprise some opponents with going first out of nowhere with a slow mon like that. But you are very much relying on your low tier if you want to get some speed out there. Realistically, I think Piloswine is the only rocker on this team. Lycanroc does get it, but this one definitely in particular wants to come in and maybe do banded tough claw shenanigans. I think Chestnut pairs well with Bulu. Get it out there. Either get some extra recovery with the terrain or just abuse it with some hard-hitting hammers. Moltres complements Scizor very nicely with the fire resist, as does Milotic. I think the team has some good elements, just very, very slow.
Yeah, there are a few things in this team that are good, and a few things that are just absolutely horrendous. Let me give you an example. I think that the combo of Mega Scizor and Milotic, beautiful. Conceptually, love it. What does this team do when it faces Mega Manectric? Mega Manectric pops Scizor, pops Milotic, pops Tapu Bulu, pops Moltres, pops Slowbro. Like, you see what, if you got electric fire coverage, the entire A through C here is in bad shape if you just have electric and fire coverage. Like at Lotties, all the Lotties with Mystical Fire, T-Bolts, like there's some problems in this A through C synergistically. I like every one of the mons in A through C, but together they don't work together. I think that grassy terrain hurts as much as it helps. It helps a handful of mons in this team, but it also hurts the Milotic with Grass Stab. It hurts Grass Stab on the Piloswine. It does help reduce the EQ weakness to Slowbro. But yeah, it goes EQ switches anyway. right? He does get good value from Tauros and E tier. He gets really nice value from D tier and Piloswine. Moltres is very good with boots out of C. There's some things to like, bro. There's some things that I'm very concerned about. Not quite frankly, was probably pretty generous with a B minus. When I think about what electric, you get a 1-mon that's electric and fire coverage, and that may be the end of the match, depending upon what Static has left and how he's, prepped his team. There's some tough matchups that Static's going to have to overcome if he wants to make this team successful.
For sure. And I will add, he does have all 4 forms of Oricorio. I just had to decide on one to add in there, so I went with the one that covers the typing he doesn't have. But he does have all 4, but I don't think the fire one really helps, since I don't know if you want to be running. I don't know when you'd run fire Oricorio over Moltres. That seems like kind of a shoehorned extra defog in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys really covered pretty much all of it. It's just, once again, there's a lot of great things going on here. There's a few couple good pairings here and there. But when you step back and look at it as a whole, there's things that the good pairings start to overlap and create these weird anti-synergies, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. This is a tough one because I like all the mons, right?
Yeah.
I think if you just went picture by picture, do you like Mega Scizor? Of course you do. Do you like Melonic? Of course you do. I think if you went picture by picture, great. But when you start putting them together, there are, I think, a few glaring issues.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Seems like we're done with Static's team. On to TG's.
Yeah, I'll start this one similar to the way I started the Keister one. Unlike Keister is a former champion in our league. TG is a former finalist in our league, although he hasn't quite yet gotten over the hump. He has made it to the finals, was one of the best battlers in the league seasons 1 through, I think 4 was when he dropped, or 3. But in our early stages, in the infancy of our league, he was one of the top, probably 3 coaches annually. So we'll see, right, if those skills are brushed up or if he's going to need a season or 2 to get in the groove. But if you go back in our history, TG's one of the Mount Rushmore coaches of the ASL. He's got some nice pieces here. Dragapult is worthy of the number 1 overall pick where it was selected. Offensively, pretty powerful here. Dragapult, Volcarona, Terrakion, Mega Pinsir, even things like Gol or Houndoom, they're going to hit really hard. And this team is going to have a really good offensive pressure. And that's potentially the end of the good list. In that, his only defog option, unless I'm mistaken, is Volcarona, which naturally doesn't want to defog for, I think, a handful of obvious reasons. He does have a rapid spinner and Avalok with heavy boots and sturdy, so the odds of him being able to rapid spin probably pretty good. But Avalok gets worn down extremely easily by anything that has any special move. And is not, necessarily, you're not trying to bring that tier E Avalok to every single matchup. So putting in offensive pressure, this team probably can get it done and get a good handful of wins. But it doesn't have a ton of defense, doesn't have great hazard support, although it does set stealth rocks very well. So it's a good team, not a bad team. It's not a great team.
Yeah, for sure. The Volcarona, Mega Pinsir, and Golisopod, 3 bug types, and then you also have Houndoom and Avalok. I mean, Avalok already runs boots normally, but that's a lot of mons weak to rocks, and to have, I wouldn't say unreliable hazard removal. I mean, Avalugg is great, but that's one of your 6 mons you could bring an E tier that you're gonna have to bring probably every week, because I wouldn't want to force Volcarona into defogging. That's a lot to invest in just to keep several mons able to switch in, take make a hit and switch out. I mean, he does have Magic Bounce Espeon, but like that's another thing. Like, is that it's a D tier? Do you really want it coming every single week? And it doesn't even remove hazards. It just stalls out your opponent getting them up, if anything. And then on top, there's also a weird gap between Houndoom to Golurk. The speed tiers start out pretty nice. Zubstrike is a little hollow, like we've mentioned before, but makes up for that with Terrakion, Mega Pinsir with Aerial 8 Quick Attack. That's beautiful. But then Houndoom to Golurk, that's a 40-point gap. There's a lot of mods in there that are not going to feel very much of any pressure at all to run any speed investment at all. And that really kills it for me.
I kind of just feel like this is boots the team.
Yeah.
Like you just because of how rough your hazard removal is, you've kind of just dedicated Volcarona, Calissopod, and Avalugg to be boots every time they come. You do have Magic Bounce Espeon there to like kind of as a way to threaten. Hey, you're gonna try and get rocks up here? I don't think so. You have lots of good breakers and setup mons. Dragapult is very good for cleaning up late game. I don't think it really has the power to be an offensive threat early on, though, just because its base stats aren't the greatest offense-wise. Like, they can do work, but I think it's more reserved for a later game kind of role. Registeel is a great wall, base 150 in both defenses, can flip-flop it between whatever you need it to do every week. And then after that, your bulk kind of jumps down to Shiinotic and Avalugg.
I do like Shiinotic, though. It's an interesting mon. I want to see TG do great things with it. I'm sure he can.
I mean, the thing I'll say is, if TG is the old TG, he has, if you go back and you watch the Season 3 finals, as a matter of fact, I did an ASL interview video on the Season 3 finals where TG brought, in my opinion, the worst team in the history of ASL finals. I mean, his team was atrocious, but he was in the finals with it. He has a history of outperforming his team, and I think he'll do that again. I think he could make a couple of changes that would really improve his roster. But TG is a good coach, and he will outperform the C overall grade, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It looks
I'm
like
excited to see Golurk do work.
Yeah, Golurk is good. Is that all of them? We finished.
Mashing the down arrow and it's not moving on, so.
So Brett had the highest overall, right, with an A average?
Yeah, we can
Right,
flip
yeah.
back through really quick. C, C+, D, C+, A minus for TCP.
TCP.
C, A for Brett. Solid
Yeah.
team. A minus for Ian as well. So yeah, those are the top 3. Ian,
Yep.
TCP, and Brett.
Yeah. So Brett basically season 12 champion, right? We don't have to play the league.
Yeah.
All right, let's start the
This is
draft
exciting.
next week.
Draft next week, season 13.
Here we come.
Season 12 champion. Brett, sounds like it's pretty easy. We're
All
basically
right.
done. I'm looking forward to this season, y'all. I mean, it's a great season. It's set up to be one of the most competitive seasons in the history of the league. If you've been in server, I've posted different coach lists from our history, and in my opinion, if everybody plays well and everybody preps hard, this will at worst be our second most competitive season in the history of the league, potentially the most difficult season we've ever seen. So, me, Jervis, Lille will be here every week, weekly recap, whatever that may look like, and we're going to walk you through it step by step along the way. There's going to be some great matchups. There's going to be some gut-wrenching defeats. Maybe IL Kid can avoid getting froze and losing, I think, 3 matches due to freeze this season, like last time. I don't know.
Worry, he didn't draft Appleton.
He did not. But bad luck has a way of following folks, doesn't it?
It does.
I've seen a lot of battles where it's just been horrid luck for him.
We'll find out, man. It's going to be a big season, though. A lot of good coaches. I'll tell you what, man. There's not very many. Quite frankly, there may not be any easy wins this season. It's going to be uphill pretty much from week 1 the entire way through, which is the way you want it, man. It's going to be fun. So we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until next time.
See you later.